You know, stockings aren't the only thing hung around Christmas. Lights. Lights are also hung around Christmas. What were you thinking? Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generation X, Y, and Z with the 12 Sleighs of Christmas. Look at that title card there. Yeah, it says sleighs, not days. You can slide the title off now. Thank you very much. So, this is the 12 Sleighs of Christmas, which means it is a list of 12 horror movies. And it is the best 12 horror movies, in my opinion, that happen around Christmas time. Now, in all fairness, though, I have not seen every horror movie that is based around the Christmas season or is on or around on somewhere in the Christmas time. So that might mean I have to change this down the road, but right now, let's get into the countdown. Number 12, Santa's Sleigh. This movie, Santa Claus is actually a demon who lost a bet with an angel, so he becomes the giver of toys and happiness. But when the bet is off, he returns to his evil ways. Overall, I do think this was a fun movie, if you don't take it too serious, and I mean, you shouldn't, really. This is Goldberg, after all, as an evil Santa who's going around killing people. I mean, it isn't Shakespeare here, so if you want to see some goofy chaos, some killing going on, some familiar faces that you might recognize, then this movie is a go. Number 11, Silent Night. The police force of a small, remote Midwestern town search for a killer Santa Claus who is picking off the citizens on Christmas Eve. So this is a remake, kind of, to the movie Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I'm going to be honest here. The only reason why I originally watched this movie was two actors, Donald Logue and Malcolm McDowell. And was this movie worth sitting through the entire feature time just to see these two actors? For me, yes. For some other people, maybe not. The killer in this movie might be considered a little bit more creative in the styles of the killings, but I personally dig a bad guy that has a flamethrower. I think it's pretty cool. So, only see this movie, however, if you have seen the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. Then you can tell me what you think of the two. Number 10, Inside. 4 months after the death of her husband, a woman on the brink of motherhood is tormented in her home by a strange woman who wants her unborn baby. This movie is disturbing to say the least. I mean, since I've started this YouTube channel, I've taken the liberty to get a little bit more involved in the international horror side of things, and I love this movie. This is a great movie. It is part home invasion, but there's so much more to this movie than that. And I think that this movie would get more of a reaction from the female audience than the male audience. I could be wrong. Ladies, if you're watching this, go ahead, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of this movie. Number 9, P2. A businesswoman is pursued by a psychopath after being locked in a parking garage on Christmas Eve. Again, this is a movie where the scenario is just a little bit close to home. Or should I say close to the parking garage. The other movie was too close to home. This is basically a horror movie that is, this can happen in real life. And that makes the horror more horrifying, so to speak. It's almost a situational horror, you know, because you're going to find yourself watching this movie thinking to yourself, well, what would I do? Number 8, Ginger Dead Man. The adorable and edible Ginger Dead Man comes to life with the soul of a convicted killer who wreaks havoc on the girl who sent him to the electric chair. So is this a Christmas movie? Yeah, sort of. I mean, the killer is a gingerbread man. Bonus points, he's voiced by Gary freaking Busey. I mean, that's how I got it. I mean, I found out about this movie and I went, okay, this has got a killer gingerbread man puppet that's gonna kill people, and it's voiced by Gary Busey. Basically, if you like goofy B-horror movies, Check this out. Number 7. Jack Frost. After an accident that left murderer Jack Frost dead in genetic material, the vengeful killer returns as a murderous snowman to exact his revenge on the man who had sent him to be executed. Okay, so this topic is a little cookie cutter, no pun intended since we just came off of the Ginger Dead Man, but it is a killer that died, that was executed, that vows revenge with his spirit on the people that got him killed. So, yeah, it's a little turnkey when it comes to the horror synopsis. This movie is not that great. I mean, it's incredibly stupid fun. So, if you're into that, that's one thing. I mean, the voice acting of Jack Frost is pretty bad. The acting overall is pretty bad. It does have Shannon Elizabeth, and there is a shower scene, so you can take the good, you can take the bad. You can take them both. And there you have, I'm not going to go with that Facts of Life joke. That's just, you knew where I was going with that. Number 6, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. The now adult Ricky talks to a psychiatrist about how he became a murderer after his brother, Billy, died, which leads back to Mother Superior. Who would have thought you could get psychotic tendencies from your older sibling as a hand-me-down, so to speak? Anyways, in the vein of most horror movies, this sequel is more of a dark comedy than a horror movie. By accident, I think. It's just humorous to watch for some reason. I mean, basically, every time I get into the water at the beach, I think of Jaws, but every time I take the garbage down at the end of the driveway, I think of this movie. Number 5, Gremlins. A boy inadvertently breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of mischievous monsters on a small town. Now, you might not have realized this, but Gremlins is a horror movie. Yes, those little buggers killed. You don't realize the death that's involved because it's taken very lighthearted. You watch it as an older version of yourself, you kind of go, oh, that's a little disturbing. It is fun to watch, however, and does make you think twice when the electric starts to short out the Christmas lights around your house. You possibly could have gremlins. Number 4, Silent Night, Deadly Night. After his parents are murdered, a tormented teenager goes on a murderous rampage dressed as Santa due to his stay at an orphanage where he was abused by Mother Superior. So this is the original to number 6 that was on the countdown, and this falls into the category of the this could have happened horror, where a killer snaps, dresses up like Santa, does not have supernatural abilities at all, and goes around and kills some people in a pretty inventive way. And there is gratuitous nudity in it. I mean, that's a staple of most horror in the 1980s. So I don't know if you'd want to gather the family around to go ahead and watch this movie, but it should be a lock in your horror library. Number 3, Better Watch Out. On a quiet suburban street, a babysitter must defend a 12-year-old boy from intruders, only to discover it's far from the normal home invasion. So this movie caught me off guard, so to speak. I really did like the acting. I liked the story as well. I will say the fun and campiness of something like Home Alone is taken way to the extreme in this movie. And it has the makings to be a classic in the future. And the number 2 spot goes to Krampus. A boy who has a bad Christmas ends up accidentally summoning a festive demon to his family home. So this movie builds upon the legend of Krampus, which is the other side, the other spectrum, so to speak, of Santa. And this is an extremely enjoyable horror movie. And due to the situations that are actually happening and the monsters that are there and the family members that you don't really care that much about. It's more of a dark comedy than anything, all due to the fact that this kid just doesn't have a Christmas spirit anymore. It's definitely worth watching. And the final sleigh of Christmas is number 1, Black Christmas, the 1974 version, of course. During their Christmas break, a group of sorority girls are stalked by a stranger, and this is one of the first slasher movies that are out there, so it is definitely worth watching. You gotta know your horror roots, right? I mean, this movie just tops the list. It's enjoyable acting, believable horror, great direction, just good old plain storytelling, really. I mean, Black Christmas reigns supreme over all the other Christmas movies. Horror Christmas movies. Not regular Christmas movies. That would be White Christmas. White Christmas trumps Black Christmas on that one. Oh my gosh, I just said white, black, and Trump. The internet's going to blow up. So do you agree with me or disagree with me? Leave a comment down below. Make sure you check out the other videos here on the side and support the channel by clicking down on the link below. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon so you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.